And that's kind of when it dawned on me that I can't rely on the world or other people to give me a job or to, give me something. And I have to kind of take control and figure something out by myself. You don't even need to win 90% of the time. Now, I only need to be right 40% of the time, and I'm still going to make money. So I think speed of implementation was one of the biggest things, is to just run with it, make errors, make mistakes. We all do, but learn from it. If you don't believe in your own word, how do you expect the universe to believe in you? How do you expect your clients to believe in you? And spirituality is what's also got me through tough times in my life.
Welcome to Inspired by Success, the podcast where I deep dive into the mindset of successful entrepreneurs, CEOs, and thought leaders. Get ready to be inspired and gain valuable insights to unlock your true potential.
Transform your financial future with this episode sponsored by KE Financial Services.
As the founder of Live Traders, our guest has coached over 1,000 traders worldwide, leveraging the flexibility and freedom of trading. He's involved in many entrepreneurial ventures, including franchises, angel investing in startups, and maintaining a real estate portfolio. Additionally, he's published the book Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life, focusing on success and productivity. He's also a philanthropist with over 13 years of experience volunteering and raising funds for causes like cancer research and providing meals to those in need. And unlock your potential, discover how to master success psychology, and unlock your potential with a strong work ethic and growth mindset. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Anmol Singh.
Looking forward to chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited and impressed by your background. Can you take us back and tell us about your story and how did your path lead you to create Live Traders?
Yeah, definitely. I started in my dorm room. I went to college in London, and in there, you have to have like a year's worth of internship or work experience before they let you graduate. So that was a time where I was like applying to a bunch of different internships, jobs, and I started with all the big banks and then couldn't get in anywhere, didn't even get a call back. And then I started to work my way down to maybe a startup, like somewhere where I can get in internships. I couldn't even get that, nobody would return my like emails or applications. And that's kind of when it dawned on me that I can't rely on the world or other people to give me a job or to, give me something. And I have to kind of take control and figure something out by myself. And I did come from an entrepreneur family. My father was a entrepreneur, so it was always kind of my destiny, I guess, to be a business owner. My father hadn't ever had a job; he'd always started his own business, and I kind of followed in the same footsteps. But I did want a job. Like I always wanted a job, just because I also grew up and I saw like my family, my father, let's say every month would be different as a business owner. Some months you're making a lot of money, some months you're struggling. So there was a lot of ups and downs and not a lot of uncertain. There was a lot of uncertainty. So I thought I should probably get a job. At least I know, okay, here's that fixed salary and I can just plan my life around that. But I couldn't get it. So that's when I realized that, okay, maybe my dad was onto something, maybe I should start my own thing. And that's kind of why I was just taking online courses, researching, reading a lot of books, spending that 1 year in college that I couldn't find a job just to learn. And that's when I really got involved in the stock market and really started learning and developing my skills. In that next year, I was already trading for a company in New York City. I was trading for a firm in New York City. They would give me their money in exchange. They would take a percentage of everything that I made for them. And that's kind of how I got involved in the stock market. And then, it led on to a whole career that I'm still on right now. So kind of like my dad, I haven't had a job ever. It's the only thing I've done so far. Yeah.
Congrats. That's pretty awesome. And I totally agree about the entrepreneurship thing being up and down, but over time it does take consistency and a lot of lessons as well. So can you share what have been the biggest entrepreneurial lessons you've learned?
The biggest lesson is speed of implementation. A lot of people have a lot of great ideas and a lot of things they wanted to do or things that they one day or someday will do. But the real good entrepreneurs, they have speed of implementation. They figure it out as they go, right? Most people would try to figure everything out first, right? Or like make sure they have plan A, plan B, have all these scenarios. I'm like, but you haven't even got started yet, right? You're wasting time. Might as well get started, fail, make those mistakes, learn from it, and then keep going. That's going to get you faster. So I think speed of implementation was one of the biggest things, is to just run with it, make errors, make mistakes. We all do, but learn from it, right? Hire people or hire coaches, hire mentors, surround yourself with people who've already kind of done what you wanted to do, and they can let you know what the next step should be. So don't focus on, like a lot of people focus on, okay, what's this next advanced strategy I'm going to use? I'm like, but you haven't even done the basic strategy yet. So like, let's kind of stair step our way up, let's not focus on what's coming 10 years down the line. Let's just focus on what's the next step. I think that's one of the keys to achieving any business goals or any life goals, is not to look at this big mountain of this goal that you want to achieve, but okay, what's just the next little step that I want to take? That's it. And once you get there, what's the next step? Like each step at a time, you'll eventually get your goal. And a story for that is actually, it's probably like maybe 5 years ago. I was at a workshop where it was like a very physical workshop. You had to run, miles. You had to carry sandbags. Like you had to do a lot of physical work. And there was like Navy SEALs and all these people there, and me, So I showed up. I was completely unprepared, and I'm looking at all these people, like really fit people, and I just showed up because I just commit myself, and I figure the rest out later. And there, I remember everybody was doing like 5 laps, 3 laps. 1 lap in, I was exhausted. I was like tired. And one of the Navy SEALs came up to me. He's like, all right, don't think about like this, this 3 laps you got to do or 5 laps you got to do. Let's just think about, do you see that tree over there? I'm like, yeah, I see that tree over there. He's like, okay, let's just go to that tree. I'm like, okay, when we run over to that tree. He's like, okay, now great. Now, do you see that tree over there? I'm like, yeah,
Mm.
let's just go to that tree. So tree by tree by tree, I ended up completing the whole race. So I think that is a great lesson for life as well. That was mostly the lesson, is don't focus on this 5 laps you got to run across the mountain. Just focus on the next tree, and then tree by tree by tree, you completed the whole race. And I think that analogy applies to all aspects of our life as well.
I totally agree, because it's like a process, and entrepreneurship, it's not about the end goal, but it's about doing the steps beforehand. The process is fulfilling as well, even though it can be quite challenging at times. But, when you've done that, achieved that big goal, you can look back and you think of all the tough times that you've had to go through.
Mm.
So, it's very inspiring what you've done and what you've built too. You've got many different ventures. Which one has been the most profitable for you? So you've done franchises, you've done real estate and trading. What do you enjoy most, and which one has been the most profitable for you?
I think trading for both of them, because trading really has no limit, right? Like the limit is basically how much you're willing to risk.
Mm.
And you can never reach that limit in your trading. So I think trading obviously is the most, I would say, engaging for me, right? It's dynamic. Every day in the markets is different. No 2 days are the same. So you never get into like a mundane routine. Every day is a little bit different. Every day stocks are doing different things. So I think not only do I like it a lot more, and that's the first thing that I ever started with. So you always have that love for the first thing that you made it in, right? Or succeeded in. So I
Mm.
think that for me has been the most profitable too, because all the other stuff that I've done, where did I get the money for that? From trading. So trading will always be the most profitable, no matter even if I make more money with real estate or anything else, it will still be trading, because that's where I got the initial funding from. So I think trading would be the answer to both of those questions.
Wow. So you must have made a lot of money too, because, so to be able to put all that profit into different ventures, that's great. So I'm curious to learn about your trading investing as well. Do you do just stocks, or do you do crypto trading or anything else?
So when
Forex?
it comes to trading, I do stocks and options. That's for trading. I do have crypto, but that's more of like a bet, right? That's not really a trade. A trading would be where you're in and out of stuff all day long, and it's based on strategies and tactics and patterns. And crypto is more for me an investment, that I made a bet. I have a cryptocurrency, right? I put it in my money in there, and we're gonna find out what happens in the next 5, 10 years. But that's more of a speculative bet. So I never call that like I don't trade it, like I don't get in and out of that. That's just
Mm.
something that I'm going to hold on, and we'll see what happens.
Wow. Okay. So, and I know that trading, there's a lot of skills involved, because not anyone can trade. And yes, it might sound like it's a great thing to do because of the money, but you can also lose a lot of money, especially with options trading, if you don't know what you're doing. So,
Mhm.
what would you recommend for those who are new to trading? And do you think like some people shouldn't get into it just because of the sound that it's, good money to make? Like, what advice do you have?
I would say take it easy. Don't be in a rush. I think a lot of people are in a rush. They want to get rich quick, and
Mm.
that's the surefire way to lose your money in trading. You want to have a strategy, sort of like a casino. So when you go to a casino, and let's say if you win $1 million in a casino, they're not going to cry about it. They're not going to whine about it. They're just going to be like, here's some more free drinks. Just keep playing, right? Because they know the longer you keep playing, eventually they'll come out ahead, because they have
Mm.
this little edge in statistic probability. So same way in trading, what we do is we don't try to guess. We don't try to think, oh, I think this stock is going to do this. I feel this stock is going to do this. We don't trade on feel. We trade on statistics. Try to get the edge in our favor, sort of like a casino. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons mistakes people make is trading on emotion. I read an article. I think the stock is going to 10x. I'm like, millions of people have read that article. What edge do you really have? You don't have any advantage.
Are you looking just at, do you look at any fundamentals, or is it just using the charts?
Yeah. So when it comes to trading, it's all charts, right? Because when it comes to investing, though, there is fundamentals. So if there's a company that I want to hold on for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then yeah, I have to make sure that's fundamentally sound company. It's going to be around. It's going to succeed. So investing, fundamentals come in. When it comes to trading, charts are the only way to do it because you might have a example. Let's say you think a stock is going to be a great company. The CEO is great, but that doesn't tell us what the stock's going to do tomorrow, right? It's only going to tell us what the stock might do like a year, 3, 5 years from now. So fundamentals take a long time to play out, right? You might be right on the company, but it might take years for it to actually come to fruition. So with trading, we're looking to get in and out every day or buy something today, sell it tomorrow. So for that, charts are the only real way to do it because what a company, how good it is or how bad it is, it doesn't affect it on a day-to-day basis.
All right. And what psychological pitfalls do traders commonly struggle with that you see?
I think what we just discussed, like about emotions, right? Like you don't want to. That's the biggest mistake, and I've made that mistake early on in my career. You buy a stock and it's going down, and rather than getting out and taking a small loss, what could have just been a small loss, you just keep holding. Maybe it'll come back up, right? Let me buy more. So Warren Buffett talks about buy and hold. What most people end up doing is buy and hope. And hope is not a strategy, right? You don't want to trade on maybes. Maybe it'll come back up. What if it doesn't? Your money's stuck there. There's also a thing known as opportunity cost, right? If you just keep, maybe let's assume it does come back up. But let's say it took a year for it to come back up. Now your money was just tied in for a year. I would rather get out, take a small loss, and then just get into another trade. And that I would have made more rather than just holding on for a year for it to come back up just to break even. So I think opportunity cost is a lot of that people miss, and they trade a lot based on gut feel or emotion, which has no basis in reality, right? It's all subjective. We want to trade basically on objective data. So, like professional traders, we'll have spreadsheets, we'll have numbers. We know exactly what our win loss ratio is going to be at the end of the month, how much we're going to win, how much we're going to lose. And honestly, you don't even need to win 90% of the time. You like, I would maybe win like 50, 60% of the time, sometimes even 40% of the time, right? But when I win, my average winner is at least twice the size of my average loser. So now if my average winner, let's say, is $2,000, let's say my average loser is $1,000, right? Now I only need to be right 40% of the time and I'm still going to make money. So I could lose, think about that, I could take 100 trades, lose on 60 of them, only win on 40 of them. But if my winner is twice the size of my loser, I'm still going to be profitable. So that is what we professional traders try to do, is we try to create a system where we have this little edge and we just keep pushing the button. We are not emotionally invested into a stock. We don't care if the company succeeds. We don't care what the CEO is going to do. We have no business in that. We just keep pushing the button. As long as the odds stay the same, statistically, we're going to make money.
Are you focusing on a particular amount of stocks specifically, or do you have tools that help you find new nuggets of stock that are just like got the data behind it? Or do you just focus? Because I was speaking to another guest that he just focuses on one thing, and he does options as well. But yeah, he doesn't focus on multiple different stocks or whatnot. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so every day we'll trade different stocks, whatever is moving that day, whatever is hot that day, whatever had some news that day. Because what we're looking for is volume. We're looking for activity. So when something is in the news, it's moving a lot. So when it's moving a lot, we're looking at different stocks every single day, right? However, I will still have my favorites like Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Facebook. Those are like my go-to stocks, bread and butter. So if nothing else is good in the markets, I don't like anything, I'll just go to my favorite stocks, those three, and I'll just look to trade those. Like today, I did the same thing. I just traded Tesla 3 times in and out, and that was my day because there was nothing else that I really liked. But every day, there's going to be different stocks that are going to be moving. And what we look at is pre-market gainers, which means which stocks are opening up or down, right, before the market opens. You can even take a look at Twitter, see what other people are talking about, right? Where's the chatter? Because when other people are talking about, that means other traders are also going to be looking to trade that. So that's going to be moving faster than a slow stock that nobody's looking at that day.
Wow, that's a lot of interesting information. And in terms of the ups and down days, tell us about why transparency is important and what's the biggest losses that you've had and the biggest wins that you've had? Because I'm curious to know.
Yeah, I mean, biggest wins. Not haven't had any like major wins because, as I just described, I'm very disciplined when it comes to
Mm.
my trading. I'm not looking for home runs. I'm not taking big losses or big gains. And I try to keep every loss the same. So I try to make it so that, no two losses are different, because that ruins the statistics, right? What if, let's say, I win consistently $2,000, $2,000, $2,000, $2,000, and let's say I'm losing $1,000, $1,000, but then I lose 10,000 on one trade. Now I just messed up my whole statistics model, and I'm not going to make money. So what I try to do is every winner is the same amount. As soon as I hit that amount, I'm out. Every loser is the same amount. As soon as I hit that amount, I'm out. So if I just maintain because I'm trying to maintain the ratio, but I've had mistakes that I made in the past. I remember there was this is a time where I was just newly started making a lot of money, right? I was crushing it in the markets. I hosted a party at my place, like 50 people over, and I don't drink anymore, but at that time I was drinking, and I was like, yeah, this stock looks great. Let me just go back to my screen and figure it out. And I remember it was, I think, almost close to $80,000-$90,000 loss that day. I learned my lesson the hard way, and since that
Were
day
you
I've
drunk?
never done it again.
Were you
Yeah.
drunk trading?
No, I was overconfident, and like, there was people over at that time. I was living in London, so it was still the evening time there, the time zone difference. So everybody was over, and I was, you get overconfident and stuff happens. But I'm glad that happened to me, because after that date, I've never taken a big loss. Right, I've stayed very disciplined, and I've almost automated it in my software. Meaning, as soon as I hit, let's say, X amount, the software will automatically get me out of the trade. So it's impossible for me to lose beyond that. And then same thing for my targets. So I think every trader at some point will make that mistake. The real question is, will you learn from it, or will you repeat that mistake again? Right? I mean, literally, I stopped drinking after that day. I was like, this is an expensive drink. I'm not gonna do that. So I think it's important to learn your lessons, but at the same time, ratios, that's the key to trading. Because if your winners are different amounts all the time, losers are different amounts all the time, it's very hard for you to create a system that is statistically profitable.
I like that. It's very disciplined as well. And you mentioned systems. Are you using your own systems? Are you leveraging AI? Are you using bots? What are you doing?
No, it's still very manual. When I say system, I just mean that I have tested, let's say, certain patterns that I know that, okay, this is the win rate of this pattern, this is the win loss ratio of this pattern. And I still trade manually. Like, I'll still get in myself on the trade. Although I do have a software that we built which exits the trade on you. So all I got to do is I got to find a good trade. I'll put in, let's say I want to lose maximum $2,000 on this. I'll put in $2,000. It'll calculate exactly how many shares I need to buy or sell in order that I only lose that amount. And then it'll exit the trade automatically for me based on the criteria I've already specified in the software. So that makes my time a little bit more easier to do. But it's still manual. It's just that I'm not pushing the buy and sell button on the keyboard. The software is handling that for me. But I still have to be the one to find that idea, find that trade.
Mm. And do you use what brokerage system do you use? Do you use that software on your brokerage system? Because there's so many different exchanges and brokerages out there.
Yeah,
Which one do you recommend?
yeah, I use interactive brokers.
Mm.
They're the biggest ones. I think they're in every country,
Yeah,
and they are the most popular brokerage. So that's what I use, and my software then sends my orders to the interactive brokers. So that's kind of how I linked it all together.
that's good. Yeah, I use that one too. What's your outlook on the markets given the recent turbulence?
I think we're just going to keep grinding higher until August or October. Because typically what happens is we get a market downturn or recession 11 months after we first raise interest rates. So we raised interest rates last year, I think, was it September? So 11 months would be August of this year. So August to October is the time where you have to be very careful if you're an investor or trader, because if we're going to get a downturn, which I think we will, we're going to get that around August to October period. So I don't see any major declines. I don't see any major crashes. I don't see any major pullbacks in the market till then. I think we're just going to slowly be grinding up all the way through August, September, and then maybe the rug pull will happen before the elections. Elections are going to be in November, and typically markets have always declined in October, and then the interest rates also come around the August timeframe. So that's kind of how I come to the conclusion of August to October is the time to be cautious and maybe lighten up on some of your long positions. Because then if you
You,
get an opportunity, you can always buy them back cheaper.
So how do you protect yourself when that time happens? Are you shorting the market, or are you just waiting, pulling back and cashing out until the right time?
So I've been trading the short-term swings, meaning markets run up, I get out of all my longs, I wait. Maybe I'll short the market, buy some puts on the spiders or the Qs. We get a little pullback. I'll get out of my puts. So right now, I've just been trading the swings. When we get really extended, I get out of my longs, buy some puts on the market. We get a little pullback. Let's say to the 21 EMA, 21 moving average. We get to there. I cover my puts, get out of them, take my profits, get back in some longs. So I've been doing that for now, and I think I'm going to continue to do the same thing till August, September. And then August timeframe, depending on where the markets are at, if they're still running up, I'll probably get out of everything, all of my long-term positions except for Tesla, because that still relatively hasn't moved. So I'll get out of everything, and then hopefully we'll get that decline that we got even last year in October. We got a decline, and then when that decline happens, then I look to just buy them back.
Wow. Okay, that's some great tips there. Let's talk about success and productivity, because you've written a book and you've done a lot of successful things in your life. Can you share what you believe is the number one key to success?
Yeah, no, number one key is like keeping your word, right? Like being a person of integrity, like being a man or woman of integrity. Like do what you said you're gonna do it when you said you're gonna do it. That is the foundation of everything in life, because, and that applies not only to life but trading, to investing, to business. Because let's say you get into a stock and you're like, I'm gonna get out. My target is $100, and it gets to $100, then you're like, maybe it'll go higher. Let me keep holding on. So you didn't follow through on your own word, right? Or you buy a stock, it's going down. You said, if it goes to 99, I'm going to get out and take a loss. It goes to 99. You're like, maybe it'll come back up, and just keep holding. And that's how disasters happen for a lot of people. And same thing applies with your life too. Oh, I'm going to start this business from this day, or I'm going to do this I'm going to record my audiobook. I'm going to write a book, or whatever. And then you say that, but you never put a date on it, right? So, or you put a date on it. You say, okay, next week from first, I'll write even one page a day. And first comes in, but you're like, well, it's Friday. I'll just start from Monday. And Monday comes in, and then you're like, well, it's the 28th of the month. I'll just start from the first. And the first comes in, and you're like, but it's December. So we'll just start New Year's, right? And we just keep pushing the buck forward on our own success. Like we're literally causing our own success to be delayed. So I think the key is to take action on that. And a lot of times people will say, but I'm a person of integrity. I'm like, really? When's the last time somebody called you? You said, hey, I'm just in the middle of something. Let me call you back. And you never did, right? Or you ran into an old friend at an airport or a shopping mall. You're like, hey, really good to see you. We should totally catch up. And then you make no attempts to ever catch up with them. So you just said something I didn't even mean. So my thinking with that is like, if you don't believe in your own word, how do you expect the universe to believe in you? How do you expect your clients to believe in you, right? If you don't believe in your own word. So I think being a person that really honors your word, and if you don't mean it, don't say it. Because what happens is it affects our mindset, because then our unconscious mind is like, oh, he just says things. She just says things. She's not going to do it, right? And then that leads into low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And it's just a cycle that keeps repeating ourselves. And then we wonder why we're stuck, right? We're stuck because we're not following through on our own word.
Wow, that's powerful. In that book part, I'm guilty of that, because that's why I was laughing, because my dream is to write a book as well, and it just seems like a huge task. I've got the name of the title. I know what it's gonna like. It's about a memoir of my crazy life journey, but I just haven't started yet. And
I'll give you a great tip. I'll tell you,
yeah,
here's how I did my book. So if you already have the book in your head, in your mind, pull out an audio recorder, just go for a walk and speak your book into the audio recorder. And now you have an audio recording, get it transcribed. Now you have it in Word, written document, right? Now you can piece it around, turn it into a book. Like that's how I did my book. Because if I sat down and write, there's no way I'm going to write it. But I knew it in my head, all these concepts. So I spoke it first, right? Then I had it transcribed. So now I have it in text. Then I kind of sat down and rearranged it a little bit. And then I got an editor. She turned it into chapters. My book is ready. Now I'm not wasting time. Speed of implementation, right? We talked about that. So
I
that's number
love
one
it.
key.
Yeah, because I was thinking of doing that audio. I thought, oh, is it going to be the same or not? But I think that's great advice. So sometimes when you're walking or you're in the zone, it's good to talk and speak about it. And I've noticed that when I tell people my story, I've actually made people cry. So maybe it
Yeah,
is something that I should do. But speaking
definitely.
about your book, Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life, tell us, what can we expect from the book, and how would you personally define success?
So for me, success as I define it is having success in all areas of your life, right? Health,
Mm,
wealth, love, and happiness. But then
same.
more so than that,
Mm,
you personally being okay with where you're at in each of those areas, right? As long as you are satisfied with yourself, honestly, you can say to yourself, I'm satisfied with all areas of my life. That's success. So, a lot of times success, people define it financially, but you could be, super financially successful, but if your relationships are a mess, is that really success? Probably
mm,
not, right? Or
mm.
maybe, your relationships are great, you're making money, but your health is not, it's a mess. Is that really success? Probably not, right? So you need to be personally okay with it and honest with yourself. And as long as you can say confidently that, you know what, I'm happy with all areas of my life, great. That is true success. So my definition of success evolves over time. And I think you should never have that definition based on what somebody else thinks success is. You need to define that for yourself, and it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's one
why
of
I
the
love.
things yeah, those are the things I talk about in the book, is like about integrity, keeping your word, what success really is, how to achieve that in all areas of your life.
Beautiful. Totally agree, because that's similar to how I define success too. If you can be happy and fulfilled in your health, your relationships, in business and financial, then for me that's success. But it takes work and constant work to maintain that balance as well and get it right in all areas of that field, and then be happy. So, that's, yeah, I totally agree with you there. Who has been your biggest inspiration, whether that be books or mentors that have made a massive impact in your life?
Yeah, definitely. And another thing I would actually add on success is that, as we talked about earlier, it's not a destination, right?
Mm,
It's a constant process. Like, there's
yeah.
always going to be something you can work on. Like for me right now, I'm working on my health because last few years I was traveling. I didn't really focus on it. So now I'm focusing on that. So, it's not a destination. It's not a place where you'll get and be like, I am successful. True
Mm,
success is you constantly try to get better every day,
yeah.
better version of yourself. As far as inspirations, my inspiration actually is Werner Erhard. Not a popular social media guy,
Never
Werner
heard of
Erhard is like a philosopher. So a lot of the concepts about integrity and stuff that I talk about were originally written by him, papers that he wrote, academic papers on these topics. So that kind of my inspiration. I think that's where I learned a lot of my stuff from. And he has great books. It's called Three Laws of Performance, and the other one's called Speaking Being. it, I would say it's not for most people because it's probably like this thick, right? So it's gonna take you a year to finish that book, but it's worth
Wow.
it. I'd rather finish that one book than 50 others that people might finish.
Wow. And tell me, so I'm curious to know, if you lost it all today, what would you do?
I would. If I lost it all today, first thing I will do is I'll cry. No, but no,
I like that. It's honest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, probably yeah, because then that means I probably messed up real big time somewhere along the
Yeah.
way.
Mm,
But I think I would probably try to somehow come up with the money to get back
mhm,
into the stock market, because that is one skill that nobody can take away from me. I already know it. It's in my head, it's in my
mm,
brain, and I might make a mistake here and there, but I know I can eventually get back on it. So my first thinking would be how to come up with the money. Could be asking people, could be selling my services or products, something to generate that income, and then I'll get back into trading and I'll just do it all over again.
I like it. It's interesting. So let's talk about mindset as well. And I'm curious to know about your thoughts on spirituality. So, what role has spirituality played in your mindset, especially on success? Because you touched on the book as well. What role has, do you
I
do
think
anything spiritual as well? Do you have rituals that you follow, or?
yeah, spirituality, I mean, is a huge proponent of my life. Like, because for me, trading is also a very spiritual endeavor. Like, if anybody's ever heard any of my live streams, that's all I talk about. I mean, I literally have these cue cards that I keep in front of me. So there's like my values are written on it, right? My purpose statements, my vision statements, and other stuff that like, through the strength of God I will prevail. Like all these little sayings I keep, and I keep reminding myself every single day, because that's what really is. Like, what is intuition? What is a gut feel? Because some people all the time say, Anmol, man, you have a great gut feel or intuition about this stock. You said exactly this is what it does. I'm like, yeah, that's not me. Like, I'm just in tune. I feel like I'm in flow with the
Mm,
markets. I'm observing it. And spirituality is what's also got me through tough times in my life. There's a lot of times I struggled in my life. And I mean, I was born in India. I moved here, didn't know anybody, no business, nothing. But that got me through. always knowing that, okay, if I just, the concept of karma, which
Mm.
is basically you do your best work, don't worry about the results. Results will take care of itself. That's what real karma is. I think a lot of people misconstrue karma. They say that it's what goes around comes around. That's not really it. The real saying, at least in the book, the Gita, is like about you do your best work, you honor your own word, you just do the best you can, let the results happen, right? And I think in the Bible it talks about the same thing. So you got to do your best foot forward, and I think that is what I'm trying to do all the time, and that is a very spiritual thing. Making money is a very spiritual thing, right? Money, all it is energy. It's just flowing from one pocket to another pocket, one place to another pocket. So you just got to figure out, how can I deliver enough value either to people or to the marketplace so that that energy of money could flow into my life. And I think for me, all of what I've done is based upon that. I wouldn't say I have rituals. I mean, I believe putting on your headphones, going for a walk, that's a ritual for me. That's very spiritual for me, you know, or meditating if you can. Now I don't meditate for like a long time. I'll just do like maybe 10 minutes at best, right?
Mm.
But that is good enough for me because I'm just connecting, centering myself every single day. So I think spirituality doesn't need to be this, you know, thing that people have in mind, that it needs to be this big thing or these hours you got to spend on your spiritual practice. Spirituality literally could be just sitting with yourself for 10 minutes and really deciding and thinking about why you're doing what you're doing and why in the first place. I mean, there's so many other ways I could make money. I could do e-commerce, I could do all of it. Why trading? So you got to kind of delve into why, and you will realize that there's certain gifts that the universe has given you, right? And you need to honor those gifts. Like I realized that gift. I mean, if I started trading when I was 18 years old, so if I was given a gift, I need to just honor that and take it to the fullest potential, rather than saying, but I could do this, but I could do that. I think a
Mm.
lot of people run behind shiny objects. You need to honor your own gifts that have been given to you.
Well, that's beautiful. Well said. In terms of your gifts, like what if you've got a gift out there or you don't know what it is? How does somebody discover that gift? And for me, I'm just curious to know. I was speaking to a guest before, and I do my e-commerce business, and this podcast is a very passionate. Like I'm passionate about it because I love to learn from other entrepreneurs and hear their stories and improve myself as well. I get to speak to coaches, to other entrepreneurs, and hear about their challenges and how they overcome ththings, major challenges, and become successful. So that's passionate of mine. But in terms of leveraging it and monetizing that skill, I haven't really thought about that. You know what I mean? Like, so how would you, what advice would you give for somebody who has a passion for something but doesn't know how to leverage that skill and monetize that skill? Because, there's courses out there, a book I want to write, but I know that books don't, bring it
Mm.
in, that can't change your world. There's seminars and
Yeah.
public speaking. So how do you choose which one is going to keep you fulfilled, but also keep that passion alive and make an income out of it?
Yeah. So I think you mentioned passion. Like, you need to do what you're good at, and then passion will automatically come, right? A lot of people run behind a passion, but maybe they're just not good at it. And then it's a struggle. And it feels like, the classic story of the broke artist, right? He's passionate, but he's just not very good at it. Marketplace is
Mm.
not honoring it. That's a sign from the universe that maybe that is not what your gift is. So you need to find what you're really good at, and then as you get good at it, I mean, I have yet to meet a single person who's really good at what they do and they're not passionate about it. Everybody's good at something, they're passionate about it, right? But on the flip side, it's not the opposite case. You could be passionate but not good at it. So the way to start is you have to know what your values really are. Right? What do you value? So look around in your space. What do I surround myself with? Right? What do I spend most of my time on? What do I spend most of my money on? If you look around your apartment house, what do I surround myself with? And your values will start to become clear and clear. And then find like 5 people who really know you, or maybe 3 people who really know you, and ask them this question: what is it? What is something? Let's say that Linda almost always blank, and let them answer. What is something Linda almost always blank? And just let them speak and hear them out. Almost always. And then you will discover things about yourself that you couldn't, because these are our blind spots. But people would say, Anmol almost always keeps talking about the success, the spirituality, all this stuff. And he almost always, anytime I'm having a challenge, kind of gets me through that. So now I know, okay, that maybe that is my gift, right? Maybe that is my gift. So asking other people that are close to you, what is something I almost always blank, and don't speak, let them answer. And then the other thing is take some time by yourself, go for a walk, right? I do this every like 2 3 months. I'll just take a couple books, maybe a journal. I'll go into get a cabin in the woods, right? No laptop or nothing. Just go there, just kind of learn to center yourself with yourself, right? You don't need anything, you don't need any external things, just yourself and your journal, and just write. Like, write what comes up, write how you're feeling. Maybe you feel like grabbing your phone, maybe you feel like grabbing your laptop, maybe you feel like, man, I'm alone in the woods, like whatever. Write those things down, and
Mm.
that's how clarity really comes in. Because when we're always talking, we're not listening, right? The only time you can actually listen to the universe, to God, or whatever you believe in, is to be there, like, and not talk and just listen to what's coming up. I think those strategies are something people can employ. Is go to the woods, sit with yourself, put on your headphones, go for a walk, meditate, and ask people.
Wow, that's incredibly powerful. I mean, some people will probably find that hard, especially if you've got a chatterbox mind that just never stops thinking all the time. Like I'm lying in bed and I'm thinking about business all the time. So, to do that and take some time out, I think that would be crucial. That's why I do love taking some time off and going to the beach and being by the water. But it's, yeah, definitely true what you said. So
Mm.
tell us, you do some volunteering and you do a lot of philanthropy work. Why is that important to you, and how has it impacted you? Because I know that a lot of successful people, sometimes they have so much money and they have everything, yet they're not fulfilled. And when I hear that, I think maybe you're not serving others. Maybe that can help and be grateful. But how has volunteering helped you and impacted you?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do more, and that's kind of the striving, and I think that gives your business a purpose, right? Because you want to make more money. Why? So you can give back more. So that actually helps not only your business as well. Even if people are doing it selfishly, great, do it, because you're helping other people. Number one, so I don't care
Mm.
if you do it selfishly because you're still causing a benefit, but then also that keeps you going in your business, and even in the Bible, right? They talk about tithing, like giving 10% of your net worth to your church or a cause. And that is kind of telling the universe that I have an abundance mindset, right? I can give away 20%, 10%. And guess what? The universe will provide. And it almost always ends up working that way if you give it from the honesty of your heart. So I think that is one of the things to look at, is you're basically saying, I have an abundance mindset. Because when you're just holding on to everything, that's a scarcity mindset. I don't want to give
Mm.
it away. What if it blah, 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 blah. So you're cultivating an abundance mindset. So that's for yourself. That's your benefit, right? You're going to work harder because you want to provide more. So that's another benefit that you're going to get. And as you get these benefits, you're actually helping other people, right? You're actually benefiting humanity. And I think that's a big difference maker. And everybody has different causes that they want to give to. Find your cause. Like, that does give us purpose in life. That does give us a lot of hope in life. And it also is not like, oh, I'm just sitting in my computer trading, making money selfishly for myself. Like, that gives you a little purpose that, okay, I am also doing good in the world. So I think it's important, and I would love to do more, honestly. Like, I feel like I'm actually not doing enough, so I need to be doing a whole lot more. Yeah.
Wow, very powerful. Tell me, what is your why in life, and why do you do what you do? Because everybody has that why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be the best version of myself while showing other people how they can be the best version for themselves, because everybody has a different background. So for me, growing up, never really felt like I belonged, never really felt like I fit in. And it started off selfishly, in a negative energy. It started off like, I want to prove it to the world that I could
Mm.
do it. So it started off in that way. But now it's just about, I just want to be me. I just want to live my purpose, and also give people the confidence so they can live out their purpose for themselves. So that's kind of my why, is I want to help other people live their true purpose and not do it for the wrong reasons, not do it to prove it to other people, but do it to prove it to yourself, to prove it to your God that, okay, thank you for the gifts that you've given me, and I'm going to honor those gifts till the last day.
Wow. What's one key piece of advice you'd like to leave our audience with?
I think last piece of advice I'd leave them with is that don't be one of those people who moves from one podcast to another podcast, one video to another video, one book to another book. And they brag about, oh, I've read 20 books. I'm like, but your life doesn't demonstrate you taking action on any of what you read. So don't be that person who's stuck in what I call the learning loop, where you're just learning, 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 but you're not actually doing anything. So, the true knowledge is applied knowledge, and your life should demonstrate that you have actually applied that knowledge. Otherwise, it's just information. You can learn all the information in the world you want. That's not knowledge, right? And that's what most people do. Most people end up hoarding a lot of this information. And but then I'm like, but you read a book on this topic. I don't see you do that. You read a book on this topic. You didn't apply any of that. So don't be that person, because that is I would say personal development in industry, kind of knows what they're doing, right? They're getting you into the loop. Hey, you need to take this next course. You need to take this next workshop. You just got to keep doing. You got to keep doing. And people are just stuck in that. And I see that all the time. And I'm like, that's not what really personal development is. Personal development is you learn something, you go apply it, you make mistakes. And then once you've done that, then you move on to the next thing. So that's the advice. Just take action on what we talked about. Like today, we talked about being a person of integrity, right? So notice in your own life, where am I lacking integrity? Where did I say I'm going to do something that I didn't? And then what are you going to actually do to fix it, right? And then we also talked about kind of sitting with yourself, meditating, asking yourself those questions. We also talked about kind of asking friends or family, what do I almost always, and let them speak. So do those things rather than just going on and listening to another video.
Beautiful. It's been very, very inspiring and a great conversation, guys. If you've enjoyed the conversation as much as I have, please support the channel by hitting the like and subscribe. And if you're listening on podcast, please hit the follow button. It does really help the channel grow. Finally, where can people find you?
I'm most active on Instagram and Twitter. My username on both of them is Delta90, DELTA99ETY. Don't ask me why. I had it a long time ago. I didn't change it. But as far as trading is concerned, livetraders.com is where they can learn more about what I do in terms of trading. And then my book is obviously on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, Audible, iTunes. It's called Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's great chatting with you.